Today we are going to talk about the different forms of organization structures. From this module, you are going to know what is meant by organization structure, what are the various types of organization structures, and which type of structure is best suited for which type of organization. You see, any organization, when it starts its operation, its structure is quite simple and uncomplicated. But with a changing environment, which is quite dynamic and complex, it has to restructure itself in order to survive and grow. As a result, the structure of an organization no longer remains simple and uncomplicated. Rather, it becomes complex. In this module, we shall be discussing the various forms of organization structure, their characteristics, and their suitability with respect to their organizational nature and its environment. Let's now talk about the various kinds of organization structure. You see, there are two types of structures. One is called the mechanistic and the other one is called the organic. The two generic models of organization structure were propounded by Tom Burns and G.M. Stocker. As I said, they are the mechanistic structure and the organic structure. In the mechanistic structure, there are strong bureaucratic qualities with tight controls, stable internal environment, clear regulations, and fixed powers and responsibilities. In an organic organization, on the other hand, it is flexible and is adaptive to change. In real world, it is difficult to find purely mechanistic or an organization structure. The two forms of organization structure are the extreme ends of a single continent. Mechanistic structures are best suited for organizations that want full control over their costs and their working style, as there is very little room for flexibility. The organic structure, on the other hand, is well suited for organizations that are looking for innovation and change. The organic structure provides the flexibility which is required for innovation and creativity. In today's world, which is full of global competition and volatile market conditions, mechanistic form of organization structure is losing its relevance and luster. This is because the mechanistic structure is not well equipped to respond to the environmental changes and the uncertainty which the changes bring with it. As a result, more and more organizations are today following the organic structure. While designing a structure for the organization, the mechanistic form of organization may be chosen initially. At the initial stages, a simple structure may be chosen which has low departmentalization, wide span of control, and a centralized authority. But as the organization expands and grows with addition of new employees, the simple structure no longer remains simple. More departments are added, which leads to high degree of departmentalization. Organization is fortified into functional departments like marketing, production, personnel, and finance. Rules and regulations are introduced. Work becomes specialized and the organization becomes increasingly bureaucratic in nature. But as the external environment becomes more volatile, the mechanistic form of structure is replaced by organic structure. But as the external environment becomes more volatile, the mechanistic form of structure is replaced by organic structure. Due to globalization, the organization environment, both external and internal, are highly dynamic and complex. Hence, organizations like to have a structure which can help them to remain lean, flexible, and innovative. Therefore, organic form of structure is more preferred than the mechanistic form. Now we shall be discussing the various forms of mechanistic and organic structures that organizations choose in order to run their businesses. There are 5 forms of organization structure which are widely used by organizations all over the world. They are the functional structure, product structure, project structure, matrix structure, and the network structure. The functional structure and product structure falls under the mechanistic structure, and the project, matrix, and network structure falls under the organic structure. We shall now discuss them in detail. Let's talk about the various functional structures. Functional structure is one of the most widely used forms of structures that organizations use today. This is because it is simple to make, has clarity, and is easy to implement. Let us now talk about the various features and characteristics which functional structure has. The first characteristic is specialization. In functional form, related skills and jobs are bundled together as one functional. Similar and related occupational specialities are grouped together under one functional head or a department. Hence, every person in an organization is oriented towards a specific task or an activity. For example, all activities related with marketing and sales of a product are put together under one department called the marketing head. The other characteristic of a functional structure is pyramidal growth. Whenever a new product is added or a new market is targeted, the organization's functional structure expands both horizontally as well as vertically. This means that the growth in a functional structure is a process of horizontal and vertical elaboration. This means that when a new product is introduced, it increases the work of all the departments in an organization. All the departments like marketing, production, finance, and personnel are affected by it. Hence, the organization expands both vertically as well as horizontal. The next feature is functional relationship. In functional structure, managers are subjected to multiple supervision. This means that the departments may be having all three types of authority, which are line, staff, and functional. The various types of authority, we shall now discuss them in detail. Let's first talk about the line authority. Under this kind of authority, there is only one center of authority, and the authority is vested with the line managers of the organization. They are responsible and accountable for all the organizational activities. Now next is the line and staff authority. In line and staff authority, there is both line and staff. The staff's role is to guide and give specialist opinion in their area of competence to the line managers so that they may make right decisions. The staff is just to counsel and advise the line managers. The staff is incapable of taking any decisions on their own. The third authority is the functional authority. Apart from the line and staff authority, there is a third form of authority called the functional authority. In this, the manager or head of a particular department has an authority not only on his or her direct chain of command, but on other groups or units as well. For instance, the finance department can issue orders or instructions regarding financial matters to all the other departments like marketing, production, and personnel. The next feature which we'll talk about the functional structure of organization is span of control. As the organization follows functional structure, therefore the span of management is limited. The next characteristic of functional structure is centralization. In a functional structure, authority is centralized to a very great extent. Next characteristic is the line and staff division. In a functional structure, there is a clear distinction between line and staff activities. The line functions have direct responsibility for achieving the basic purpose of the organization, and the staff functions plays the supportive role. Thus, line commands and the staff advises. Now, after we have discussed the functional structure, now we come to another kind of structure which is called the product structure. As the functional organization grows in size, the possibility of misunderstandings and feuds amongst employees increases. The problem of coordination between functions becomes difficult and distance is created between the top management and the functional departments. In order to solve this problem, product structure or divisionalization is brought into the organization. Product structure or divisionalization is a process of dividing the functional structure of an organization into smaller and flexible administrative units. The units are formed in terms of the various products being manufactured or sold by the organization. Look into the various characteristics of product structure. The first characteristic is large organization. Product structure is most suitable for large and complex organizations. The large organizations are divided into small units on the basis of products being manufactured or sold by the organization. Thereafter, each small unit or the product divisions are responsible for their own profits and losses. The second characteristics of product structure is decentralization. Product structure facilitates decentralization. It brings a wide span of control at the top, which leads to a flat organization structure. Also, it frees and relieves the top management for the top management tasks. The third characteristic of product structure is multi-product organization. Product structure is suitable for multi-product organizations whose objective is to expand and diversify its products which have distinct production and marketing features. The more diverse and changing the product line is, more suitable is the product structure for such an organization. The next characteristic of this kind of a structure is product development. Product structure emphasizes a great deal on product development. Each product is given special attention and is carefully studied and developed. The ones which have a market and have opportunity for growth are retained and further developed, and the ones which are outdated and are poor are discarded and discontinued. In response to the external environment and market conditions, new products may also be added to the existing line of products. Now, the next structure which we are going to talk about is the project structure. In today's complex environment, project structure is the best form of business organization. Here, specialized people from various functional departments are brought together to form a group in order to accomplish a task or an assignment. And once the task or the assignment is completed, the project comes to an end and the group formed is disintegrated. Hence, projects are flexible, which are made for a particular purpose for a limited period of time. Now let's talk about the various characteristics of project structure. The first characteristic is goal-oriented. Project is formed to fulfill a goal, and once the goal is achieved, the project comes to an end. Next characteristic is temporary structure. People from various other departments are brought together to form a project. This is an ad hoc arrangement made of diverse people from varied background depending on the goal requirement. The third characteristic is limited period. You see, each project is made for a particular period of time. The time is an estimation of time taken for accomplishment of the objective or goal for which the project is formed. The next characteristic is lacks precedent. Every project has its own set of requirements. Therefore, no project is exactly similar to the previous one. Hence, projects do not have precedence. Every project is unique with a new requirement of people, knowledge, expertise and time. The next characteristic is insecurity of employment. You see, a project structure is an ad hoc arrangement. Therefore, sometimes once the work is done, the people brought together for a project become jobless. This creates a sense of insecurity among people who have been hired from outside to work under the project. The next characteristic of project structure is outcome focused. The success and failure of the members working under the project structure depends entirely on the success of the outcome of the project. Therefore, everyone working on the project works with one goal of achieving the objective for which the project was made. And the last characteristic of project structure is project head with a team. Members of various departments are brought together to form a team. The team is headed by a project manager whose sole responsibility is to make the team work towards the goal. He is responsible for the completion of the project. He is the unifying agent and a focal point for the activities of the project. Now, after discussing the project structure, we now move on to another form of organization structure, which is called the matrix structure. Matrix structure is a mixed organizational form in which the vertical hierarchy is overlaid by a lateral structure. Hence, it is a combination of both functional structure and project structure. It inherits the characteristics of both functional and project form of organization structure. It is a mixed form which has multiple channel of communication. Now let us look into the various characteristics of a matrix structure. The first characteristic is multiple command. You see, matrix structure breaks the principle of unity of command. That is, one man, one boss. In matrix, at a given time, a number of project managers as well as functional managers might be directing the activities of a number of people working under them. Hence, one man might be taking orders from more than one boss. The next characteristic is resource sharing. Due to interdependency between departments, people working in various departments may contribute to more than one project or to more than one functional department. In both the functional and the project structure organizations, the people are locked up in one functional department or in one project. Hence, the scarce resources are often underutilized. Dual demand. Matrix structure is well suited to organizations which are complex and are working within a turbulent field environment. Hence, the structure is well suited to aerospace, hospitals, banking, universities, chemicals, electronics, retailing, advertising, and other product manufacturing organizations. The structure helps such organizations to meet the dual demands of maintaining technical excellence and meeting the customer requirements. The matrix structure helps in meeting the dual demands by allocating resources across different products and by adapting the organization to the changing external environment. The next characteristic of a matrix structure is division of authority. In matrix structure, there is an equal division of authority between project managers and functional managers. The project managers have authority over project employees relative to the project goals. On the other hand, functional managers have the power to take decisions regarding employees' promotion, salary, transfer, performance appraisal, etc. The next characteristic of matrix structure is efficiency and flexibility. Matrix structure allows efficient utilization of resources such as manpower, as they can be freely allocated across various projects. Due to constant interaction between project units and functional departments, there is better communication which encourages more efficiency and flexibility. Decisions can be taken by quickly adapting to the changing environment. The next characteristic of matrix structure is development and growth. Matrix organization helps employees to develop and grow. Due to innumerable projects, the employees working in various functional departments get an opportunity to work in projects of their own interest. By working in projects, they enlarge their experiences and broaden their outlook. Also, the projects expose them to challenges. It gives a person of high potential an excellent means of demonstrating his or her capabilities and skills. It provides a stimulating atmosphere for people who are professionals and have a scientific bent of mind. After matrix structure, we now discuss the network structure. This is the most recent form of organization structure. This is also called a virtual structure or a boundaryless structure. It is called boundaryless because it has no vertical or horizontal boundaries. In today's global and dynamic environment, the internet is being widely used by organizations all over the world. E-business, outsourcing, and mass customization are increasingly being used. An organization which follows a network structure subcontracts or outsources some or many of its operations or divisions to other organizations and coordinates with them to accomplish organizational goals. For example, a company may outsource or subcontract some of its functions like sales, customer service, and manufacturing to some other companies or firms and may be connected with these firms via a computer network. In a network structure, a number of firms come together to accomplish a particular task or a venture. Nowadays, most of the airlines have outsourced their ticketing function to some other companies. Also, there has been a rise in e-business companies like Amazon, OLX, and Bharat Matrimony. These are the modern business houses which have used internet as a medium for doing their business. Now, we have already discussed the various forms of organizational structures, but we need to know that on what basis do companies or organizations decide on a particular type of structure. So now I am going to tell you about the various factors which influence the organization structure. Hellriegel, Jackson, and Slocum have identified three crucial and important factors that affect the decision of adopting a particular structure for an organization. These three factors are strategy, technology, and information. Now let's see what these three mean. First, we will talk about strategy. Strategy adopted by an organization to achieve the organization objectives determines a great deal the kind of organization structure the organization would like to have. In order to reach the goal, it is very important to match the organizational structure with the strategy that the organization is following. An organization structure which is compatible to the organizational strategy acts like a means to an end and not an end in itself. Hence, it helps in achieving the organizational goals. The next factor which affects the organizational structure is technology. The kind of technology used has a direct impact on the choice of organization structure. Different technologies generate varying degrees of interdependence on departments and employees working in those departments. By technological interdependence, we mean the degree of coordination which is required between employees and the various departments to transform raw material into finished goods and services. And the third factor which affects organizational structure is information. You see, information plays a pivotal role in the success of any organization in today's dynamic and volatile environment. Organizations spend a considerable amount of time gathering information and sharing them amongst their employees. The organization structure is guided a great deal by the need to process information. The organization may follow a mechanistic or a bureaucratic structure, which is the functional structure, if they do not require information sharing and the process of information to realize their organizational goals. On the other hand, they may follow organic structure like project matrix and network structure if they require information sharing and information processing to achieve their goals. So you see friends, today I have told you about the various kinds of organizational structures which organizations can follow. They are basically divided into two, the mechanistic and the organic structure. Because of the dynamic environment in which we are living today, mostly organizations choose the organic structure. And I also told you about the three factors which affect the structure.